أصحاب السعادة، السيدات والسادة الحضور، وسائل الإعلام، ضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. مرحبا بكم في الدوحة، البوابة الجديدة للألماس والأحجار الكريمة. مرحبا بكم في هذا اللقاء الأول معكم، والذي سيكون بداية لتعاون مستمر ولقاءات مثمرة. مرحبا بكم في مؤتمر الدوحة الدولي الأول للألماس والأحجار الكريمة، حيث يلتقي العالم أجمع في هذا البلد المليء بالحياة والمستمر في تحقيق الإنجازات على كافة الأصعدة والمستويات، في السياسة والاقتصاد والرياضة والثقافة والسياحة، واليوم في الألماس والأحجار الكريمة. وليس هناك ترحيب يمكن أن يقدم لكم أفضل من الذي يمكن أن يقدمه سعادة السيد سعد الخرجي، رئيس قطر للسياحة ورئيس مجلس إدارة زوروا قطر، الراعي الرئيسي للحدث. فليتفضل مشكوراً.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, esteemed industry leaders, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is with a great pleasure and honor that I welcome you to the inaugural Doha International Diamond and Gem Conference. We are pleased to sponsor this distinguished gathering of pioneers and innovators from the diamond and gemstone sectors. This conference marks an important milestone in our collective journey as the luxury market evolves from shifting consumer preferences to transformative changes within the global supply chain. The International Diamond and Gem Conference this provides a platform to examine these changes, inspire new ideas, drive collaboration, and foster innovation within the industry. This year's event holds particular significance as it coincides with the renowned Doha Jewelry and Watches Exhibition, an initiative spearheaded by Qatar Tourism. The synergy between these two events speaks directly to our nation's strategic vision of positioning Qatar as a global hub of luxury. Qatar has long been known as a symbol of luxury, offering a unique blend of world-class infrastructure, exceptional hospitality, and rich cultural heritage. We are confident that the discussions and partnerships forged during this conference will not only drive the industry forward, but will also contribute to Qatar's growing status on the global stage. We hope you find your time in Qatar inspiring and productive, enjoying our nation's warm hospitality. And on this occasion, I would like to thank His Excellency Ahmed Al-Sayed, Minister of Foreign Trade, for his efforts, and Mr. Alex, thank you very much. And I would love to thank everybody in Qatar Tourism and Visit Qatar to make this event happen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
شكراً لسعادة السيد سعد الخرجي على هذه الكلمة. والآن مع كلمة سعادة الدكتور أحمد السيد وزير الدولة لشؤون التجارة الخارجية في دولة قطر، فليتفضل مشكوراً.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It's a pleasure to have you here in Doha today. It's a personal honor, to be frank with you, to see you at this first conference. And I said personal, and Alex and the team knows, because a few years ago we worked very hard, and I was honored to lead the process also, to be part, to get Qatar to the Kimberley process. So again, welcome to Doha. Maybe for some of you it's the first time, but I'm sure it will not be the last. So 3 years ago, the state of Qatar was accepted into the Kimberley Process Certification System. It was my honor, as I said, I was also leading the process as the chairman for Qatar Free Zone Authority. Today, I think to be part of it, state of Qatar is honored, but also very eager to contribute to the industry, not only locally, but globally. And the private sector, the government institutions are ready to support this process. You know, I met a lot of private business, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of traders who's keen to start the process and to start the trading and the industry on a large scale in Qatar. Doha, it's a place for luxury consumers and very exclusive jewelries in general. You know, it's high value items, and it's very natural to expand to this industry on the ground to contribute to the region and to the global future of the business. Your conference comes at a critical time globally, from geopolitics, from globalization, from securing trading of high value items. And your discussions and panel today, you know, will contribute substantially to a new era of managing the trading and the business of diamond away from political conflict. And we would like the market to continue growing without or with eliminating the political influence or any political conflict which happen globally, especially with a big debate in the trade, international trade these days between different countries and different powers globally. So again, we welcome you back to Doha, and we are, as a government, keen and committed to enable this industry to play a positive role to the growth of this industry and the trading of this industry, not only locally, but regionally and globally. And wish you all the best in your time, enjoying Doha and enjoying the jewelries also exhibition tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you very much and wish you all the best.
وشكرا لسعادة الدكتور أحمد السيد على هذه الكلمة. الآن أدعو السيد أليكس بوبوف رئيس اللجنة المنظمة للمؤتمر لإلقاء كلمته، فليتفضل مشكورا.
Good morning, everybody. It's a big pleasure to see this wonderful crowd from almost 40 countries here. It's a big pleasure to see so many Qataris who are interested in what we are doing, and it's extraordinarily important for us. And it's a big pleasure to see all the ambassadors who come here from different countries. I am not going to name everyone, but just the special honor goes to Mr. Saad Al-Kaji for his generous support of this adventure. And we thank you very much, and without you we won't be able to do it. And especially for the Minister, Dr. Ahmed El-Sayed, whom we started to work with on this project 5 years ago. And well, if take COVID out, it's only 3 years, but still it was a serious job. And thank you, Ahmed, for making this happen. And I want to thank Sheikh Mohammed Al-Thani, the new CEO, the new old CEO of the Qatar Free Zone, who are the champions of the diamond in this country. And I hope you will continue to give your support to our profession. And my special thanks to Minister Bogolo Kenevendo. Thank you for coming up for us from Botswana and honoring us with your presence. Botswana is probably the most important place for diamonds, and without insulting others, I am thanking you and your delegation for being here, and I think it's the beginning of the wonderful friendship between the two countries. And without further ado, I thank everyone who is here. I thank the wonderful team of 9 Dots and of Visit Qatar for making this happen. And I'm giving the podium to the minister to say some words to our crowd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. Thank you. الآن بالتأكيد ندعو إلى المسرح لإلقاء كلمتها سعادة بوغولو كينويندو وزيرة المعادن والطاقة في بوتسوانا.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues in the industry, a very good morning to you all. It is a profound honor to be able to join you in this inaugural Doha International Diamond and Gem Conference, coming all the way from Botswana, particularly because we were very proud to have supported Qatar in the Kimberley process. And we are happy to see that Qatar has taken the baton forward and is championing natural diamonds through this conference. And as we gather in this remarkable city, a global crossroads of innovation and cultural richness, I extend my deepest gratitude to our gracious hosts here in Qatar for their vision and dedication to bring us together. I just said in our Holden room that the last time I was here was during the Botswana state visit, the last official time I was here. The other unofficial times I have been here. And I would like to acknowledge all the distinguished speakers who will share the stage with me. Your collective expertise and insights are not just valuable, but integral to our industry's growth and its success, particularly at this very crucial time where we are seeing natural diamonds being challenged by the rise of lab diamonds. Just yesterday, we received several reports on the growth of lab diamonds and how they are challenging natural diamonds. And I wanted to take some time today in particular to implore everybody that is thinking about the gem industry and the diamond industry to continue to strengthen and to be determined around natural diamonds. Because as we know, ours in Botswana is not only about gems, but it's a story of resilience, of reinvention. And our partnership that we have built with De Beers over half a century, based on mutual trust, shared purpose, exemplifies what is possible when nations and industry leaders come together and align their ambitions. And this collaboration has propelled Botswana to global prominence as a natural diamond producer and has allowed us to set benchmarks for ethical practices, beneficiation, and sustainability. And it is these very key principles that we wish to share with all that are attending this conference. And that with continued partnerships amongst yourselves, industry partners, we should certainly see the resurgence and trust of natural diamonds. As I said earlier, Botswana's diamonds are more than precious stones. They are testament to our nation's story and a symbol of transformation. Celebrated globally, they embody integrity, innovation, and unwavering commitment to communities and the protection of people and planet. More than just commodities, our diamonds represent the strength of partnerships, the power of community, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Botswana is committed to ensuring that brilliance of natural diamonds does not only illuminate and is not only illuminated in displays and cases around the world, but it transforms lives of those that touch them, those that mine them, and those that live around them, empowering communities and fostering sustainable development. So when you hold a diamond from Botswana, you're not just holding a gem. You're holding a piece of our history, of our culture, and our unwavering commitment to a brighter future for all citizens, as well as consumers of a product wherever they are across the world. The diamonds carry the authenticity of a nation that prioritizes transparency, good governance, and the well-being of its people. And we cherish all of our partners, be it national, government to government, or private sector, or civil society. And we offer a unique proposition, the opportunity to partner with a country globally recognized as a trusted leader in responsible diamond production. Our commitment to sustainable development, combined with stable political environment and robust infrastructure, ensures that investments here are not just secure, but they are transformative. So therefore, choosing Botswana's natural diamonds means aligning with authenticity, means aligning with innovation, it means aligning with sustainability, aligning with a nation that has successfully transformed its resources into opportunities for its people and those around the world. Every diamond purchased supports economic development, job creation, and skills enhancement for Botswana and many others that rely in the diamond industry around the world, while maintaining the highest ethical and environmental standards. The choice is therefore clear. Botswana's natural diamonds are not just beautiful, they are ethical, they are authentic, they are enduring investments for a brighter future for us all. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand at this crossroads of opportunity and of change, and I implore you all to embrace the spirit of this conference, to challenge the conventional and innovate and inspire. Botswana is not just ready to be your trusted partner, but eager to be your gateway to sustainable growth and your ally in reimagining the possibilities of the diamond and gemstone industry. Together, we surely can ensure the brilliance of the diamonds, of natural diamonds, reflects not just their allure, but their profound impact in the world. I thank you.
والآن سنستمع إلى كلمة سعادة أحمد بن سليم الرئيس التنفيذي لمركز دبي للسلع المتعددة، فليتفضل مشكورا.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, a very good morning to you all. It is with great delight I join you today for the inaugural edition of the Doha International Diamond and Gemstone Conference. I know it's the first, and keep doing it. If Dubai can make it, and Israel can still be in the top 4 diamond hubs in the world, despite the challenges, you have an easier road, trust me. Before we begin, I'd like to extend my thanks to His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Al-Sayed, the Foreign Trade Minister of Qatar, His Excellency Saad bin Ali Al-Kharji, Chairman of Qatar Tourism, and Honorable Minister Bogolo Kenwendo, my dear brother Alex Popov, Chairman of the Organization Committee, for bringing us together for this event, and a special thanks to my brother Mr. Nassim Zwartes, President of the Israel Diamond Exchange. Today, we gather to discuss the challenges and opportunities shaping the diamonds and gemstones industry. As we explored during the inaugural Dubai Diamond Week in November, the global diamond market is facing headwinds. Weak consumer demand, fragmented supply chains, and disruption caused by lab-grown diamonds. I feel that's unfair to blame it all on lab-grown diamonds, but never mind. The added complexity of G7 sanctions has further tested the resilience of our industry. But within these challenges lies opportunities. Opportunities for innovation, growth, and most importantly, collaboration. In my roles as Executive Chairman and the CEO of Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, Chairman of the Dubai Diamond Exchange, and the Chair of the Kimberley process, I have seen firsthand how collaboration is fundamental to strengthening resilience in the future. This is also why I am here today, to share DMCC's experience and together support our efforts to build collective success. I firmly believe that Dubai's rise in the global diamond trade is one of the UAE's great commercial success stories. From virtually zero diamond trade over 25 years ago, in 2021, Dubai surpassed Antwerp as the leading global hub for rough diamonds. In 2023, we saw a record of $38.3 billion of rough and polished diamonds, with year-on-year growth, including in the polished category, which now makes up 40% of our total trade. As a result, the UAE today is the #1 trading center for rough and polished diamonds. Key to this success has been our drive to build a fully integrated ecosystem for the diamond value chain. At its heart is the Dubai Diamond Exchange, home to the world's largest diamond tender facility with over 1,350 precious stones companies. The Dubai Diamond Exchange connects buyers and sellers with cutting-edge infrastructure, including 41 tender rooms, specialized lighting and crystal windows, and secure vaults. It supports trade in rough and polished stones, including man-made diamonds, as well as colored gemstones, for which we have held record tenders in emeralds, rubies, and sapphires from markets as diverse as Brazil, Colombia, Mozambique, and Zambia. Elon Musk's favorite place for emeralds. You can quote him on that. Elon Musk's father, sorry, he's the miner. We're also looking forward to hosting a high-end sapphire auction in March by Gemora. This would be the second time in Dubai. We've also established the Tender Best Practice Forum, the first board-led initiative to advance industry standards around diamond tenders and auctions. Through our membership of the World Federation of Diamond Bourses and the Kimberley process, we ensure legitimacy and traceability on all our operations. The UAE's KP office is the only one globally with ISO certification, a testament to our commitment to governance. We strive to foster industry unity through events like the Dubai Diamond Week, which saw our flagship Dubai Diamond Conference take place alongside the KP Plenary and the 3rd edition of the Jewelry, Gems, and Technology in Expo City, Dubai. One key takeaway from our recent conference was the need for category-level marketing to promote the universal appeal and emotional significance of diamonds. Historically, De Beers had that, and I'm sure Feryal will explain a little bit more on that. But it is more of a responsibility to the African producing nations and the wider industry. How we do it is up to us. Campaigns like A Diamond is Forever by De Beers, as well as the Natural Diamond Council's initiatives, remind consumers of the beauty, rarity, and appeal of diamonds that is deeply tied to life's key milestones. Properly communicating these values alongside the wider innovation story is essential as we aim to safeguard the relevance of diamonds and drive growth and resilience for the industry. On the theme of dialogue, I'm pleased to extend an invitation to all of you to join us for the second edition of the Lab-Grown Diamond Symposium in Dubai on the 30th of September. Man-made diamonds are often seen as disruptors, but I've always maintained this represents an opportunity. Latest coverage is in Khalij Times just yesterday. The natural and lab-grown segments must learn to coexist, a concept captured by the term co-opetition. Or if you can look at the example of farm pearls or culture pearls and natural pearls. I don't think you can find culture pearls in Bahrain, but they coexist in other places. By working together, we can all thrive. Aside from the symposium, I further encourage you all to visit DMCC and the Almas Tower. As nations, we have had to learn, adapt, and develop to remain competitive. And it is our shared acumen in predicting future demand that has positioned our nations as leaders on the global stage. While Qatar may be most known for its LNG, its strategic investments in aviation, communications, science, technology, media, and gaming have also given it a seat at the table through some of the world's most recognizable brands and fast growth markets. DMCC's development has equally relied on visionary leadership and the understanding that all industries have the capacity for improvement, whether through regulation, logistics, or digitization. DMCC's agility to bring added value has consistently served as a cornerstone of its sustained success. Qatar and the UAE share considerable regional advantages with plenty of scope to learn from each other. It is in that spirit that I invite you, our hosts, to Dubai, to DMCC, to see for yourselves how we do things and what can be applied in Doha. I mean, Damas is in DMCC, and the ownership changed, and I'm very happy with the development and their progress. Establishing a presence in DMCC, for instance, via a rep office, would not only strengthen our ties, but support Doha's positioning in the precious stones value chain and pave the way for greater collaboration in our region. The idea behind there is that we can learn from the advertisements, brochures, and all that, but you will pick up things I don't see when you're there in DMCC. We learn. Myself and my predecessors learned from the market. It's really listening to the market. Some of the consultants don't like us because we don't take their word 100%. At the end of the day, it's just an opinion. My team gave me a full page in closing. Yeah, this is actually my favorite one. Simply because there has been a change in administration in the US. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenges we face require unity across the value chain. Qatar's membership of the Kimberley process in 2021 and its emergence as a key player in the global precious stones industry represents a major regional opportunity to deepen our trade. By sharing knowledge and embracing innovation, we can address supply chain challenges and continue to provide a supportive environment for businesses. And we see examples of bold actions driving change globally. President Trump's dozens, I don't think dozens, must be dozens of dozens by now, of executive orders being a recent example. These measures include include the exit of the OECD's global tax deal, are cutting back on costly red tape. Given current projections, with US GDP expected to grow at above 2% and unemployment to remain around 4% in 2025, such steps can act as a catalyst for further business growth. At the very least, these are the kinds of initiatives that should inspire us to think strategically about how we can ensure the diamond industry's resilience and success in the future. And a small message to my brothers here in Doha. I've been to 2 World Cups, Russia, and I've been for my first time to Doha to the World Cup. And I actually booked my ticket before knowing which games I'm going to watch. And it turned out to be the Netherlands, Argentina, and the next day it was France, England. I enjoyed that. These were my best experiences, and I'm aware of the challenges of hosting such a global event. And I'd like to say, if you manage to be successful in that, having a diamond hub in Doha shouldn't be a challenge. It's a done deal. So with that, congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you this time next year.
والآن أدعو إلى المسرح لإلقاء كلمتها سعادة فريال زروقي رئيسة مجلس الألماس العالمي، فلتتفضل مشكورة.
His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Mohammed Al Sayed, Minister of State for Foreign Trade Affairs. His Excellency Saad bin Ali Al Kharji, Chairman Qatar Tourism. Her Excellency Honorable Bokholo Kenowendo, Minister of Mines and Energy for Botswana. Excellencies and ministers here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. It is such a privilege to join you here at the inaugural Doha International Gem and Diamond Conference. Since becoming a Kimberley Process member in 2021, Qatar has been carving its niche in the diamond and gemstone industry. This first conference of the year is both a milestone for Qatar and Doha and a significant moment for our industry. In my culture, the first of the year sets the tone for what's to come. And so I have chosen to focus my remarks today on unity. It is always important to understand the past so that we can do better in the future. When I look back at the last 2 years, I feel a sense of sadness. The geopolitical landscape has tested the fabric of society as we know it. And our industry has not been immune to this. We've witnessed polarization that has touched every corner of our trade and hurt our industry. So I say enough, enough. Let's heal from the divisions of the past 2 years and move forward together. Let's unite against the polarizing forces and protect the trade that we love and the product that we adore so passionately, the natural diamond. Because history tells us that when we unite, we succeed. In 2021, I'm sure many of you will remember, the world was still recovering from COVID, and like so many industries, ours was hit quite hard. In 2020, the sales of diamond jewelry dropped and rough diamond sales plummeted by more than 30%. Cutting and polishing factories were closing down, their doors, and the future did really look uncertain. There was no playbook for us to follow. But we didn't give up. We worked together across the entire value chain, the upstream, the midstream, the downstream. We collaborated across continents, Africa, the Middle East, Asia, Europe, and the Americas, and we united. The results speak for themselves. By 2021, diamond industry revenue had rebounded across the entire pipeline. 62% growth in diamond mining, 55% in cutting and polishing, 29% in retail, all double digits above pre-pandemic figures. And these numbers are just not statistics. They're actual proof of what we can achieve when we come together. So, now let's turn to the present day. Our industry faces new challenges, and they are serious. Prices are down, sales are down, and the diamond industry is under pressure. But we are far from out. We have a product with a captivating beauty and provenance. We have innovative technology that enables us to tell our story. We have a record of resilience and a history of overcoming crisis, from the financial crash in 2008 to the Great Depression in 1929. And most importantly, we have such a beautiful story to tell. It's really not time for sitting back and waiting for the market to right itself, or waiting for someone else to solve this problem. It's actual time for bold action, collaboration, and shared responsibility. So to succeed, we must have the courage to unite in 3 essential ways. First, let's unite to drive demand. Collaborations like the recent partnership between the DMCC, GJEPC, and the AWDC to support the Natural Diamond Council show what we can achieve when we come together. But that is just one example, and we need more. By uniting across governments, brands, and trade bodies, we can amplify consumer demand, creating a ripple effect that strengthens the entire value chain. Everyone should make an effort to support the NDC. No matter how small or large your contribution can be, only volume will make an actual impact. The second thing is we should unite to tell our story. Doing good is our social license to operate. We create jobs, we fund socio-economic programs, we transform livelihoods and nations. The positive impact of diamonds is a story that needs to be told, and we're not telling it wide and strong enough. We must work together to raise awareness and build trust by sharing these stories loudly and very proudly. The third is we need to unite for innovation and transparency. Our industry must embrace modern solutions that improve transparency and meet consumer expectations. The QR-coded KP certificates introduced in the recent Kimberley process plenary in Dubai are an example of what we can achieve when we collaborate to modernize. The trade is also pulled together to develop traceability solutions, not for compliance, but to tell our story, to tell the story of diamonds from source to consumer. And I urge you all to embrace them. It takes courage to unite, to set aside individual interests, to collaborate openly, and it does take courage to evolve. So my ask of everyone in this room today, it's quite simple. Let's set the tone for the year to come. Let's unite to drive demand, to market our beautiful product. Let's unite to share our story. And let's unite to make the right decisions today and build a future as brilliant as the diamond jewelry that we cherish so greatly. Shukran. Thank you very much.
شكراً لسعادة فريال زروقي على هذه الكلمة. اسمحوا لي الآن أن أدعو من جديد السيد أليكس بابوف للصعود على المسرح من جديد.
I didn't understand a word, but I caught my name, so I had to come up. I wanted to do some housekeeping, if you don't mind. First of all, I would appreciate if everyone will come on time next sessions. It will help us a lot not to go into the late evenings and be too tired. So please come on time and let's start on time. Second, I wanted to tell that we will have a dinner tonight here in the NED, and everybody is invited, and we will have some surprises there. Third, the program for those who want to see Qatar who never been here, not for those who are delegates, but for supporting members and spouses, is open, and you can communicate with the Irina, and she will take care of you. There is a bus will take you around. And last but not least, I forgot to thank the support of the Foreign Ministry of Qatar and its people, and I would like to extend this thanks to them, which, yeah, I see they're there. And thanks again for everybody else, and I hope that from now on we'll have everything on time and a very business-like conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. الآن مع الكلمة الأخيرة سنستمع لها مع سعادة كيرت بن سالي نائب رئيس مجلس ترويج التصدير الأحجار الكريمة والمجوهرات.
His Excellency Honorable Minister Dr. Ahmed Al Sayed, Minister of State for Foreign Trade Affairs, the dignitaries from all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly an honor to be here at Doha Diamond and Gem Conference. I would like to thank the government of Qatar for providing this platform. The strengthened partnership across the gem and jewelry industry globally. The connection between India and Qatar is not just economic, but deeply rooted in culture and trade synergies. With 750,000 Indians, making up 25% of Qatar's population, our nations are bound by shared values, collaboration, and mutual respect. As of 2024, Qatar Airways operates 99 weekly flights between Doha and India, showcasing the robust air connectivity between our nations. Our bilateral trade speaks volumes of the growing synergy, valued at 18.77 billion in 2022-23. However, trade in gems and jewelry, currently at only $311 million US, has immense potential for expansion. With such a strong foundation of trade and seamless connectivity, let's deepen our economic ties and explore new avenues for growth and collaboration, especially in the gem and jewelry sector. India and Qatar complement each other perfectly in the gem and jewelry sector. India is the largest cutting and polishing hub for diamonds, handling 90% of the global supply. It is also a world leader in cutting and polishing colored gemstones. Furthermore, India is known for crafting jewelry for top international brands. Qatar, emerging a luxury hub, offers a unique opportunity of aligning India's manufacturing expertise with the vision of developing its jewelry market. Beyond being a manufacturing powerhouse, India is coming up as a significant consumer market for diamonds. Domestic consumption of diamond jewelry is valued at $85 billion US, with diamonds contributing 8.5 billion, nearly 10% of total. By 2030, The figure is expected to rise to an outstanding 130 billion US dollar, further cementing India's role as a key global market. On the category marketing front, it is important for all the stakeholders across the entire industry pipeline to work collectively to ensure that diamonds secure their rightful places in the luxury segment, especially in key markets like the USA, China, India, Japan, Europe, and Middle East. India has been always at the forefront in the category marketing of diamonds. Recently, GJBC has collaborated with DBS to market diamonds and diamond jewelry in India. The collaboration opens new avenues for retailers. India is actively enhancing its infrastructure to strengthen its position as the manufacturing center of the world. Projects like the Jewelry Park in Mumbai and the Gem Boots in Jaipur represent this vision. These two projects will attract global investment and create opportunities in the jewelry market. Qatar has invested significantly in key Indian sectors, including telecom, infrastructure, and real estate. I take this opportunity to invite Qatari jewelers and investors to partner with India. You can develop iconic jewelry brands in Qatar while leveraging India's world-class manufacturing capabilities in setting up manufacturing base in India. I also take this opportunity to invite you all to the India Pavilion at the Doha Jewelry and Watch Exhibition starting from tomorrow. Thank you. Looking forward all to see you tomorrow in the exhibition. Thank you.
السيدات والسادة الكرام، فقرتنا التالية ستكون مع بول رولي نائب الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة دو بيرز وخبير صناعة الألماس ريتشارد تشيتوود، ثم سنأخذ استراحة قبل أن نبدأ الجلسة الأولى. شكراً جزيلاً.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, honourable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is a huge privilege to be here today, but it's also a privilege to be talking to Paul Rowley. Paul has now done over 40 years in the diamond industry and is very much looking forward to achieving the big 5-0 in years to come. He doesn't know that, but he's probably one of the greatest rough experts in the world. He's bought diamonds, he's valued diamonds, he's sorted diamonds, and he's executive vice president of De Beers, and he runs all their sales. Paul, could we start, please? News this morning that the president of Botswana has talked about a deal, but he hasn't given the terms. So since we're waiting for the terms, could you just talk a bit about maybe De Beers' relationship with Botswana and what it means to the industry and to you?
Thanks, Richard. Yes, it's an interesting introduction. 4 decades indeed. But 4 very varied decades, I have to say, and the majority of them spent in Africa, which was my purpose of joining De Beers in the first place. But it's a real privilege as well. Let me just start by saying that, to be here in Doha. It is my first time, and I think it's one of the markets that's actually picking up in the Middle East, so it's a lot of positivity, and I hope we get that energy coming through the rest of the conference. Yes, a lot of discussions, obviously, around our partnership, and I think the Minister herself alluded to it, that it's been a partnership of over 50 years. And it's interesting, I've been 40 of those 50, so it's been a very interesting growing partnership that's evolved over that period of time. And I think our relationship with Botswana has seen, as we heard from the Minister herself, the country grow over that period and become a real force within the diamond industry itself, a real leader in the country, not just with De Beers, but in its own rights. And I think that's been a great opportunity. This particular negotiation, though, has been over a number of different licenses. And I think as we go through this next phase, we'll see that that partnership will go from strength to strength. So it's been long, but that's because we've been discussing many different things. And I think as we finalize, I think what was the nitty-gritty, I think it was referred to, or the last details, I've heard we've been crossing T's and dotting I's for a little while, and I can say we're very, very close to finalizing that now, and I think it'll be a deal that really puts the stability back into the natural diamond industry and shows that joint leadership through partnership. We've heard a lot about collaboration today. It is all about collaboration, and I think this relationship, this partnership that we've had with the Botswana government for so long is the real foundation of that, and that's what we'll see going forward into the future. Very exciting.
Thanks, Paul. Turning to the diamond market, which you're very much an expert on, we saw in the end of the 1970s, the end of the speculative inflationary boom, and the result of that in the early 80s recession was that diamond sales for De Beers fell by 56%. We've had now, in the last 2 years, the equivalent of a perfect storm hitting the diamond industry. We've had China, where not just diamonds, but luxuries sales have fallen substantially. We've had overproduction, we've had destocking, we've had lab-grown diamonds. So it's been pretty bad, and De Beers' sales are probably down just over 50% as you've held back. Could you give us your take on the market, what all those elements mean, and possibly drill down into the China, the destocking, LGD, etc.?
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Look, I think we've heard from the speakers, actually, that often we need to look backwards to look forwards. And I think what you've described, particularly in the early 80s, I actually wasn't in De Beers for that particular crisis. It was 80-81. And that was probably the worst crisis we've seen in the diamond industry prior to where we've come through the last couple of years. But we've come through them all, and I think that's the important part of this. This isn't a one-off event. We have cyclicality, and we have different challenges at different times. So where we found ourselves in this particular moment is, we must never forget COVID. COVID was a very unique experience for all of us, and for the diamond industry, as we started to see the US in lockdown and just started to open up, we had a record year of diamond sales. It was a very unusual experience, and we forget about that. We also forget that actually, as we went into COVID, and we heard from Feriel the drastic steps that were taken, China actually started to pull us out of that initially. It wasn't the United States, it was China that opened up and really triggered the growth back into the natural diamond business. And as we came out of COVID and those record years, everyone was still expecting China, that then went into a second lockdown and a very long lockdown, to open up with vigor and see luxury sales really bouncing back. And let's be honest, we didn't see that. So when we look at the diamond industry, let's look at luxury. Natural diamonds are a luxury product. And our fall in sales in China has been very much in line with that. We're around 45-50%, and that's the general high-end luxury has fallen by a similar amount to the natural diamond industry. What's a little different for the diamonds in China is that China is a market that was not only the second largest at the time before COVID, but also it was a market that was growing constantly every year. So expansion of stores, not just consumption, but actual store expansion. So from a midstream perspective, we found ourselves manufacturing products ready for a market that was going to open up, as we anticipated the US did, also to a boom. And what we found was that, in fact, it was the opposite. We found a very different China opening up. We found, for the first time, unemployment really hitting the youth, and China is a bridal market. We saw marriages falling 50%. So the excess of stock in the system expecting to sell into a growing market actually went into an opposite market, where the market was actually reducing. It's dropped about 50%, as I said. And if you think of stock sitting in China around 1 to 2 years, suddenly that's 2 to 4 years at a retail level. And that stock needed to feed through the system. And so we've been seeing that happen over the last couple of years. And I think that's probably, for me, the single biggest challenge that the market has faced. You mentioned LGDs, that's coming as well. But actually, over the same period, the natural diamond sales at retail in the US have still performed pretty well, actually. We had a drop after COVID, which is a record year, that's understandable, but pretty resilient in the last year, actually. In fact, we believe the season saw good growth in the US, particularly amongst independents, selling natural diamond jewelry. So it's not all a negative part of this. It's really a big issue of China going through the destocking. Now, as we go through this period, what that does is it creates a downward spiral on pricing. As more supply comes in, it's a demand-supply mechanism. And we've seen, actually, I think, the entire pipeline destocking. And the response from, particularly from De Beers and our partners, and it's an important point to make, it's not just De Beers, it's with our producer partners, Botswana, Namibia, obviously in South Africa and Canada, we're pulling together to make sure that we're aligning our production accordingly. And we've taken very strong efforts to make sure, you'll have seen our publications, to make sure that we look after such a valuable product into the future. And that's a really important role that De Beers has played in its leadership of this market, and likewise, we'll, I'll no doubt touch on marketing shortly.
Well, if we could move on to marketing, because you mentioned the US. I mean, there are some of the chains like Signet, which didn't have a good holiday season, but that's just the chains. I think if you look at Independence and others, they had a very good holiday season. So there's the kind of picture of two worlds. So could you give us a flavor of anything more you could say about the US, but also what are you seeing around the world in India, the Middle East, Japan, etc.?
So let's start off with the US, and you know, it's an interesting dynamic when a major retailer misses its forecast by a couple of percent, but the repercussions can be significant thereafter. But overall, it wasn't a bad year, I would suggest, for Signet in reality, a couple of percent down on last year, which was a good year for them. And that's what we have to look at this. But it's a very competitive landscape in the US, and as you said, there's also, it is the market where there's been some competition from lab-grown. And no doubt a degree of cannibalization. I think what's really encouraging, though, is that we're seeing a total differentiation of products. We're heading to where we anticipated we'd get to, which is that they'll coexist. And we heard that, I think, from Ahmed earlier on. We need to coexist and work forward into the future. And that will happen at very different products. It's not the first time we've seen competition. We must remember cubic zirconium. We must remember we've had moissanite, other replica products looking to try and weave their way in, and we come through and we differentiate. And we're seeing the same process in the US today. So for me, the US last year was probably a small negative on the entire year, but the season was positive. And I thought what was really encouraging is the data we're seeing coming through is that natural diamond sales did particularly well in the Christmas period, particularly through the independents. And I think that's a great sense of momentum into this next phase. And again, as Ahmed said, we're seeing some positivity from an economic perspective. Our expectations for the US remain positive into 2025, and I think we will see us build on that positivity. I've spoken about China, which I believe has been a major issue, but that destocking can only happen once, really. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit of start of purchasing coming back into China. It's low, it's small, but we'll start to see that picking up probably towards the second half of the year and into 26. But this is a long-term business. The natural diamond industry is all about long-term commitment and having a vision. And if we look at India, which we've just heard, 90% by volume, 70% by value of all natural diamonds are manufactured in India. But actually, it's become a very important consumer market. And it's really rallied in this last couple of years. I think what we saw with China closing down is that we saw a lot of foreign direct investment going into India. You can feel the infrastructure. You can see that the country is buzzing at the moment. It really is. A huge difference pre and post-COVID. And that stock market, that energy, that excitement to create disposable income is being spent on diamond jewelry. They're a natural diamond jewelry market. Gold, obviously, very strong there, but at the same time, what we've seen is significant increase, particularly in the more formal sectors. You'll know we've done some collaborations with one big retailer there, Tanishq, really trying to drive the natural diamond story, and I think we're seeing tremendous high double-digit growth in those areas, and we're probably mid-double-digit growth on natural diamonds again last year, and we expect that to continue in the next couple of years, so really positive market. Yeah. And of course, here we are in the Middle East, and it's been a great market, to be quite honest. We underestimate what's happened here. We've seen a lot of positive momentum coming through, not enough to replace the China and the destocking coming out, but it's a really encouraging market for the future. And interestingly enough for me is Japan, which obviously at one stage was a very large consumer market, has drifted down, but seen some real excitement coming through there as well in this last year. Not just tourism, actually, they're very local consumption as well, and particularly well in the high-end brands doing very well there. And then Europe ultimately is steady at this stage. So I think what we're seeing in the midstream is that we're feeling the impacts heavily of China. That will start to improve as we go forward. We don't anticipate China to become bouncing back. It will take time for sure. But India's picking up the pace, and we should be more positive as we go forward into this next phase.
Okay, so you mentioned about the LGD, we mentioned very briefly, and the impact in America. It's obviously had some impact on certain categories of diamonds in the States specifically. The classic American bridal SI1 to I3, it's hit prices. Could you explain why that happens and whether you see that coming back and where you see the influence of lab-grown being down the line?
Look, historically, we've always looked at lab-grown from a De Beers perspective that this would be fashion jewelry. And we still believe that will be the case. I don't think we're the only ones now as we start to realize where the prices are going when they start to fall dramatically. But it is all about price points. And what we looked at in the lab-grown business was that we were seeing competition in that typical bridal sector around the $3,500 to $4,000 marker, when that was the price of a 1-carat stone. Today, you'll get a 3-carat stone for that price actually in lab-grown. Yeah. So it was hitting a particular price point that we felt some of that pressure. As prices have dropped and dropped dramatically, let's be honest, a 1-carat lab-grown diamond today will cost you less than $100. Yeah. That's the important part to understand. They're still being sold for quite high margins in certain retails, but that retail is starting to fall as well. And we're starting to see that as a different product. And it's no great surprise that the big retailers in the US are starting to also see this as a fashion product into the future. Now, of course, we have natural diamond jewelry that's also a fashion product. So there will be elements of time that we'll get to go through that same price point until we get to coexisting. And once we get to coexisting, then I think we see tremendous opportunity to grow together. And the market can do that. We saw that in 21, when both natural and lab-grown diamonds actually both grew side by side over that period of time. It's been just a sheer force and volume. It's a technical product. So supply is constantly on the increase, and we've seen masses of product come through that system. That's done what we would have anticipated. It's seen prices collapse at a B2B level, as I said, down to around under $100 actually to produce, and we're seeing the same factor now coming to the US. And it's that sort of fashion jewelry sector. Where it will go elsewhere, we'll need to wait and see. The latest, it's not such LGDs, HPHT. China producing an awful lot, millions of carats of HPHT goods coming to the system, particularly into Surat. Interestingly enough, it's not all negative. It's that HPHT that's been able to maintain the infrastructure as the natural diamond market has slowed down a little. That's maintained infrastructure. Then we'll see that start to come back. So you have to remember that natural diamonds, the production where we're sitting today is considerably below the highs in the mid-2000s of 170 million carats. We're down to around 110, 120 now. So there needs to be a gap that fills for that infrastructure as well.
Now, I saw on the Walmart website the other day, there was a 2-carat lab-grown diamond set in 14-carat gold. I think it was $257. So you can see the retail side is coming down heavily. Can we move very quickly then onto your business model, De Beers business model? First of all, there will be people here who don't know necessarily about how a site operates, how you do your thing. Could you start by just explaining your sales, your methodology?
So we have 2 routes to market within De Beers. Our major route to market is the site holder system. Over 90% of our sales are through that system. These are our long-term contracts. We have 3-year contracts historically with our site holders. And in those contracts, we have what we call an intention to offer. We have set goods going into different into different site holders, whether manufacturers. We have retail contracts, manufacturer contracts, dealer contracts, and industrial contracts. Actually, we have 4 different types. And they, as I said, they are long-term. I come back, this is a long-term business. And if you're going to run a manufacturing operation, you need to know and have certainty of the supply now and next month and the month after. It's really important that we have that regular supply system, and that's why we have our long-term contracts. The auction sales side of things is where people top up historically. So we've had De Beers auction sales that have run out of Singapore for over a decade. We actually closed our Singapore office and moved it to Habaroni. And you'll notice that over this period of time that we haven't been utilizing auction sales. And that's because we don't believe the market is the right market at the moment. We're concentrating on monitoring our supply levels. We're concentrating on making sure we get the right goods into the right hands and utilizing all the other flexibilities to make sure our site holders, as I said, are sustainable into the future. And that's very much a relationship business. You know, we have very long-term relationships. Some of our site holders are well over 70 years with De Beers in those contracts. And some are relatively new in the last decade. And that's the evolution and the change that we see over time. And we also see centers move around. As we said, India is a very important center. And we heard from Ahmed how Dubai is coming up. Antwerp continues to be there, operating very well. And of course, in Southern Africa, my home, we have a very important diamond center in Habaroni as well. And are building that up for the future through beneficiation. So the market evolves over time, but as you evolve, you need to make sure that you're building up the long-term trust and the long-term contracts to ensure the supply into those right hands for the longer-term future and sustainability.
And you're cutting the number of customers, and you're doing it as you kind of realign yourself in the way you partner with your site holders. Could you explain how that's actually working, how you're... Sorry, I'll leave it to you.
We're in the process of reviewing our contracts. So the current site holder contract comes to an end. It's been extended twice, actually, due to the recent market conditions and also our learnings over that period of time. And what we're seeing is a degree of consolidation throughout the pipeline. And of course, we're not immune to that either. And as we look at our future contract starting in 2026, in January, we announced back in Hong Kong that we'd be looking to review that list. And we would see that consolidating. And that's about ensuring we have sustainability into the future, and that we match our supply levels to those long-term contracts. Those contracts will be different. We've talked a lot here about collaboration. You also have heard that we've re-established our polish division after many, many decades. We're looking at understanding that part of the market well, but we're working in partnership as well with our customers. So we have a number of pilots operating at the moment that will inform the way we operate into the future, and making sure that we do already participate across the pipeline. Obviously, we're everywhere from mining through the midstream right the way through to retail in DBJ, De Beers Diamond Jewelers. So as we move forward, we're looking to ensure that we're promoting natural diamonds all the way along that line, and we're partnering with the people who want to promote natural diamonds with us and make sure that we're understanding the different dynamics and movement of polished. One of the big parts of the diamond industry is we think of diamonds, but diamonds are many different products. Everything from one stone for over $50 million that was sold not so long ago, a couple of years ago, the De Beers Blue, or whether it's down to industrial bought that's cents for a carat, and everything in between. And these products move at different times. So we want to be aware of what is moving and where we need to concentrate our particular marketing dollars, because we have to sell a whole run of mine. And that's a big part of what I think we've heard coming up. Again, Ahmed, others have spoken about the need to collaborate, make sure we're getting the marketing dollars coming forward. De Beers used to be 60-70% of the market when I joined De Beers, for sure. We're now down to a third of the market. So we have to share in the promotion of natural diamonds as well. It's a really important part of what these conferences are about, is understanding the future. And the future will be a collaboration, whether that's through the NDC, the Natural Diamond Council, to ensure that we're pulling the funds together to promote natural diamonds. But at the same time, of course, we're working with, as I said, whether it's Tanish, whether it's Signet, whether it's Chow Tai Fook, these very large retailers. We as De Beers are also partnering with them to promote natural diamonds as well.
And De Beers Jewelers, do you take only De Beers diamonds go to De Beers Jewelers?
It's De Beers sourced diamonds that go to De Beers Jewelers. So absolutely, the majority of all goods going there are from the De Beers group of companies. The exceptions will be in certain fancy colors that There's only a very limited amount that we produce ourselves as well, and where there are opportunities for customers, we will look at certain products that will come through that system as well. But predominantly, it is De Beers diamonds going through that pipeline. And of course, with traceability, Feria alluded to it in technology. Tracer has come a long way. It's not a straightforward journey to be able to do that at scale. We've got there. I'm really proud of what Tracer's been able to achieve. And again, I'm proud of the collaborations that it's announced. We're working closely with finalizing an opportunity with Sareen to make sure we can go all the way through to the polished. And likewise, we've got MOUs, et cetera, which have been operating with the GIA, which I think is a great sense of how we collaborate and work together for the natural diamonds. And the story which we heard a couple of speakers, but particularly our minister spoke about, it's the Botswana story, but also across all of our producer countries. We need to be telling those stories better, and Tracer now allows us to do country of origin, all the way in the next month or so will be what we call a carat and above in the rough. It'll be everything from half a carat in the polish will be Tracer by country of origin going forward. So a great change, a great dynamic. And then we need to tell the stories. That's the enabler, but the stories are what's important. And that really needs to come from the communities and from the heart of where our natural diamonds come from.
What keeps you awake at night?
The minister and I were on a stakeholder conference in Botswana, where she said she'd been kept awake at night. No, I think we've had a long discussion over the period of time, and we're very happy to be concluding on those agreements, because it is about long-term sustainability. And so the industry tends to look, as I guess it would to any leader in any industry, to De Beers to solve many of its problems. I think as we move into this new evolving role, De Beers has a leadership role to play, but it's also, has come back, it's how we collaborate. And we need to make sure that we're doing that together. And that's a collaboration on marketing of natural diamonds, it's understanding the pipeline dynamics, it's working together to really see the future as De Beers might have been able to do things in the past. It's not the past. We need to move forward. And it's about the industry coming together at conferences like this. But these conferences mustn't be just about talking, they must be about actions. And so coming out of it, what I'm hoping to see is a change. We heard from Ahmed about the Dubai conference that started the seeds of the diamond centers coming together to start looking to support the marketing efforts. I think we need to see more of that. And it's those sort of things that keep me awake at night, is making sure that we're doing enough to really push forward the natural diamond story. It's a story that needs to be told in a different way today. It's not just about the jewelry, it is about the impact and about what diamonds have done for the countries in which they operate. And I think that's the next phase that we really need to drive.
You're absolutely right. One of the things that the diamond industry is extremely good at is talking to the diamond industry and not necessarily moving forward. So here's really a final question. I want to set two scenarios for you, and I'd like you to tell us what you really think would happen. Scenario number one is that the industry at all levels puts its hands in its pockets, gets the money together, and spends a minimum of $200 million a year doing category marketing. That's scenario one. Scenario two, no one does any category marketing. So what's the outlook?
Scenario two we'll start with is catastrophic. Yeah? So you cannot have, not have category marketing. We in De Beers have realized that as well. We had, in the last decade, we had moved away from pushing so much category marketing. We put a lot more around the De Beers brands and Forever Mark, etc. However, the Natural Diamond Council, things change, which is why we've had to look at where we've come from and the ability for countries to contribute. So we now need to find a different pattern. De Beers is already around the $200 million that it's putting into category marketing. It's not a million miles away from that itself. It needs to be much more. So we're not talking 200, we're talking perhaps an additional 200 million that would be what would drive this industry and change, I think, the future for all of us. Because it is about, there's a lot more competition out there today. It's not just, I do hear an awful lot about lab grown. Actually, in many respects, lab grown is promoting jewelry. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's the substitution factor and the claims that are the issue. What we're looking at is share of wallet. And what we have to make sure is that we're competing against everything else, whether it's cars, whether it's holidays, whether it's experiences. We've got a millennial customer and consumer and client that will look at things differently to what our consumers did in the past. We need to adapt and adjust to that. So the old category marketing is not necessarily what we'll be doing into the future. We need to make sure we're relevant, we're using the right platforms. The work we've done in China, for example, with CTF is very much online. It's very much a narrative about telling a story. Indra, what we're doing with the Gem and Jewellery Council, is actually at the request of the Gem and Jewellery Council to educate retailers to tell the natural diamond story. These are things that we need to do differently, but to your point, it takes money, and we all need to be contributing to that. So if one thing that would be good to come out of this conference would be that we're walking out here with commitments of a different marketing budget for the future that's contributed by all, I think that would be a huge step forward.
Yeah, we need governments, we need mining companies, we need manufacturers, we need retailers, we need everyone. And who drives that?
We're a part of it. We're trying behind the scenes to push that, but it's ultimately down to the industry representatives. The bodies need to come together. We've got, whether it's we have the IDMA here, whether it's the Dubai Exchange, whether it's Antwerp, India, all need to come together with one purpose. And that could be very much through the Natural Diamond Council to help support that. We don't need to create new organizations. What we need to do is to make sure we're spending the money not on administration, but actually on marketing and advertising.
Okay. Paul, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.